Changing Expectations, written by KK Slider. Chapter 11, Nicaea. Infiltrator Solite observed the class as the changelings took their seats. For the most part, nymphs stuck with nymphs, and adults stuck with adults. It was strange having both age groups in the class. It was by the Queen's orders that the Infiltrator program be expanded, and so many adults working in other sectors of the Hive were put into Infiltrator classes. In Solite's class alone, there were excavators, soldiers, processors, and engineers. Friends, colleagues, and strangers filled the room. And the nymphs, who were just limited to friends and strangers. So Solite called the class to order and asked the changelings to reseat themselves in neat rows and columns with nymphs up front and adults behind. Not that there were any seats to help them. No, the room was completely barren, devoid of furniture. That didn't stop the changelings from taking their assigned positions with practiced efficiency. As they reordered themselves, Solite felt her heartbeat quicken. That was strange. She felt calm up till that moment. Right as the last adults were moving to sit down in the back, the door on Solite's left opened. She watched as a changeling she's never seen before enter the room.
Ah, there's Prince Phasma.
Chamberlain Yuchars had informed her a few days ago that the new prince would be attending, so she had a heads up on the new student. His hatching had been announced 3 months ago, and very few had seen him since. The rest of the class had no such warning. When the door opened, all heads swiveled to look, and 23 pairs of eyes latched onto the young changeling. For all of them, Infiltrator Solite included, this was the first time they had seen the new royal. He looked sorta like a changeling, however. He lacked the holes in his legs, he had orange eyes and an orange back, and he was essentially a large nymph. He wasn't as big as an adult, but he was at least twice the size of a nymph.
Gonna have to stick him in between the two age groups then.
I walked through the door only to freeze in my tracks. The moment the door opened, every head swiveled towards me. The moment I walked in, about half the jaws in the room dropped. I absently noted that the room seemed to be 2/3 nymphs up front, 1/3 adults in the back. I feel like a cliché visual novel side character. Rich, privileged, and just entering a class filled with normal people. But these were changelings, not normal people at all. That reminder brought me out of my silence.
This is Infiltrator Solite's class, is it not?
The changeling shook her head, the only one not in rows spoke up.
Yes, Your Highness. I am Infiltrator Solite, the teacher for this class. I am honored that you would join us.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Infiltrator Solite.
I said while moving forward to shake her hoof. The changeling started to whisper.
Class, this is Prince Phasma. We have the honor of having him with us, so I know you'll all be on your best behavior. My prince, if you would sit there.
She pointed to an open spot in the middle of the room, a gap between the two segregated age groups. I nodded and moved into the open spot. A classroom without chairs, tables, chalkboards, or ancient projector machines. This certainly is strange. As I sat down, all the changelings kept staring at me, and the nymph closest broke the silence.
Are you really the prince?
That broke the floodgates.
Is it true that the
What's
throne
Queen
room is
Chrysalis
covered
like?
in
Why do
gold?
your
Is it
eyes
true he
look
can
weird?
breathe
How
fire?
come he don't got holes?
That last one was Solite. Her loud throat clearing got the attention of the class.
Now, class, we are going to go through a round of introductions. I know we did that the first day, but now we have a new class member. I will start. Good morning, class. I am Infiltrator Solite. I'm 36 years old, and two interesting things about me are that I have been all the way up to Manhattan, and I have listened to actual pony music.
She looked at the first nymph in the first row expectantly.
Oh, my name is Pyrina.
The introductions went on. with the nymphs picking facts like their favorite color or what sports they play. It was nice to know that basketball still existed, though I couldn't wrap my head around the logistics of it. Do you dribble with your magic? Your hooves? What's the ball made of? My mental tangent left me unprepared when the nymphs finished and it was my turn.
Hello everyone, I am Prince Phasma Tadea, or Prince Phasma for short.
I should avoid talking about my new upbringing to avoid distancing myself from these changelings.
And two interesting things about me are that I hope to learn how to ski like ponies do, and that I've tasted pure love.
No, damn it, that was... The changelings gasped, and one asked,
You did? What did it taste like?
Mistake?
It's like being wrapped up in a thick blanket on a freezing day.
Please none of you ask how I know what a freezing day is, despite my age. Luckily, they all seemed to nod, and Sir Light smiled and took this to input her own lesson.
For those of you who will pass my class, you won't have to wonder what love tastes like. Successful infiltrators taste love regularly. We are the ones who bring much of the food back to the hive, after all.
The changeling adult next to me took the brief moment of silence as his cue to continue introductions.
My name is Pharynx, and I was a royal guard before being put in this class.
That didn't sound bitter at all. I wonder if Chrysalis arranged for him to be here so that there is a royal guard with me at all times.
And a second interesting thing?
Sir Light asked.
My brother is in this class too.
Sir Light sighed.
All right then. Your turn, and you can't use the brother thing too.
She said to the changeling next to Pharynx. The adults all introduced themselves, and unlike the nymphs, their interesting facts were all pertaining to what professions they used to be. That and their second facts were usually along the lines of hobbies, if they had the honor of laying an egg, and one claimed that the infiltrator he was roommates with had an actual book. After introductions, Infiltrator Sir Light started today's lessons. They were all concepts that Chrysalis had covered. Apparently, she taught me the book material and put me in the class for the practice tours they do outside the hive. The fact that those start a month from now must have escaped her notice. During the lessons, I caught more than a few glances in my direction, as well as my name being whispered around the room. Really making me feel self-conscious, huh? When the class wrapped up, instead of all the changelings immediately booking it for the door like normal school kids do, they all stuck around. To bug me with questions, of course.
No, I do not shoot lasers out of my eyes.
The changelings awed, before being pushed aside by another with a new question. I recognized this new nymph as Lacewing, a nymph who said she wanted to see a painting when she becomes an infiltrator.
Can you speak through the wave like Queen Chrysalis can?
I perked up. That was a question I did not expect from a nymph.
Yes.
Lacewing's eyes widened.
Can you show us?
Speaking through the weave is not something to be flaunted around, but I'll make an exception just this once.
It was funny to watch the crowd go from curious to dejected to thoroughly impressed so quickly.
What's your opinion on ponies?
This one came from the brother of that royal guard. I thought about what Thorax asked. This was quite the loaded question.
Their luxurious lives have made them lose sight of how the world really works. Their time in the sun will soon come to an end,
I said, channeling my inner Chrysalis. Thorax tried to hide his disappointment. Fool! You're going to get yourself killed if you do not hide your humanity better. Or would it be changeanity? I'll have to ask Chrysalis later. Oh, right, I'm supposed to be cementing loyalty here.
Perhaps there are many things we can learn from them. After all, what's stopping us from taking the best ideas they have to offer and discarding the rest?
There we go. Vague enough to satisfy your self-inserted ideals? The questioning look you're sending me says, maybe. An adult changeling, Tarsus, stepped forward and asked,
We're going to go down to the recreation area place of the fall. Do you want to join us, Your Highness?
I thought for a moment.
That would be interesting. I would enjoy.
Prince Phasma, it's time to go.
I glared at the interrupter. It was Chamberlain Yucharis at the door.
Perhaps another time, Tarsus.
He smiled when I remembered his name.
I look forward to it.
Good evening, all of you.
I awkwardly said my farewell.
I will answer more questions after the next class.
That cheered up the few changelings that didn't get to bug me about my non-existent social life.
Did my prince enjoy his first experience with changelings of his age?
They're all older than me by at least 5 months, Chamberlain.
Yucharis frowned as we continued our way back up.
Your actual peers are still unable to talk.
Peers?
He straightened up.
I mean the changelings of your age, my prince. I meant no insult.
I'm sure you didn't. And yes, I did enjoy meeting the other changelings outside of the royal court.
The Chamberlain let out a long breath.
It is good to hear that, my prince. You may be giving them orders sooner rather than later. That is good.
Nothing about how getting along with my subjects is an important lesson to learn? Or how socializing builds important skills?
Who put that idea in your head, my prince? Wasn't that layabout Thorax? He's always up to no good. I'll investigate the matter myself, Prince Phasma. Don't you worry.
I shook my head.
Never mind.
It's a bit strange how Yucharis goes from caring about my well-being one second to announcing he's going to persecute a changeling the next. What's he up to? There was something I remembered to ask.
Speaking of Thorax, his brother claimed to be a former royal guard. Was there a reason he was moved into the infiltrator class?
The Queen wanted to put changelings from all professions into the infiltrator class. She believed the experiments could yield interesting information on how changelings from different parts of the hive will react to the outside world.
Wow, she said all that?
Not a word of it.
So he might still be a bodyguard. Knowing Bug Mom, he definitely is a bodyguard.
Alrighty then. What's the real reason?
Yucharis looked at me.
That is the real reason. Her Majesty just left me to connect the dots when carrying out her orders.
Sounds like an inefficient way to rule a kingdom.
Well, don't expect me to tell her that.
Yucharis mumbled quietly, but not quietly enough for me to miss.
Her Majesty rules her hive as she sees fit. And she sees more of the bigger picture than all of us.
Tactfully avoiding agreeing with me or disagreeing with me, huh? I can be an ass licker too.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess actions that seem strange to us are actually well thought out.
We walked the rest of the way back in silence. Changelings still bowed to me in the hallway, and there were more of them this time. Changing Expectations, written by KK Slider. Chapter 12, Apostles. Another day, another class of covering material I already know. I have been in this class for 8 days now. At this point, I'm wondering if Chrysalis had intentionally put me in a class where I already knew everything to make myself, and possibly by extension herself, appear far more knowledgeable than we actually are. Today's lessons was on schooling our expressions and to be always on guard during a conversation for slips and gaps of knowledge that would give us away. Thorax had better be paying attention. It may be useful as of yet. Once the class wrapped up, we had a few minutes for another Q&A session. It seemed that the changelings of the hive never receive any visits from Chrysalis, so actually meeting her is usually bad news. I was with 5 other changelings at the moment. Thorax, Lacewing, Tarsus, a nymph named Coxa, and an adult named Eshadai. These 5 seemed to stick around me the most, asking questions about me. We had actually gotten to know each other somewhat by this point. I knew that Thorax totally would be in on my conspiracies. Lacewing wanted to become an avid painter with her disguises. Tarsus was a shoo-in for some position close to me I've yet to invent and suggest to Chrysalis. Coxa would have made an excellent assistant to the Chamberlain had he not been rerouted into the infiltrator pipeline. And Eshadai? He would probably make an excellent personal guard. Dude's built like a brick shithouse, and he has the personality of a kitten. I didn't know it was possible to be bigger than the normal changeling, but I swear he's at least 2 inches taller than the normal. That's practically the mountain that rides. Not sure why any changeling thought a transportation specialist as big and clumsy as Eshadai would be needed out in the infiltrator line of duty, but maybe he's going to ferry materials back to the hive? I was zoning out again, answering benign questions for the most part. Really, these changelings have crazy imaginations. How could you even come up with the idea that Panarthropo talks to me personally? Actually, I might already be receiving visits from a deity in my sleep. Need to check up on that at some point. The vault may have information on this moon presence.
Prince Phasma? Who's your dad?
Lacewing asked. This one got my attention, shaking away thoughts of bloodborne bosses. Dad? Who? I don't think I was ever told. The changelings had noticed my silence. I mean, I don't think his identity matters, but still that sounds like something important to know. What if it's a changeling within the hive? Or a pony Chrysalis seduced at some point? I shivered at the thought of Bugmom sleeping with anyone. Nasty.
My prince?
Did she even sleep with anyone? Don't ant queens mate with themselves or something? Oh god, that's disgusting. And I don't want to think about it anymore.
Prince Phasma?
I remember my human dad. That's enough for me. Yeah, no one can replace him. Whoever this mystery donor is completely irrelevant. I snapped to my side, where a hoof landed on my shoulder. Tarsus was looking at me with concern.
You too? I would have thought with Queen Chrysalis.
2? Wait, all nymphs are raised in a communal setting?
None of you know your parents, huh?
The nymphs and adults gathered around me shook their heads. Thorax spoke up.
Well, I know Pharynx is my brother, but none of us had actually met our...
Said brother was currently on the other side of the room, talking with a buddy of his. The guard is not present. I may have an opportunity right here and now. They don't have a family, so let's make one.
They don't matter.
The 5 changelings raised their eyebrows at this.
They don't. What matters is us. Us hivers have to stick together, right?
More confused looks. Exactly what I was hoping for. I continued.
If no one else has our backs, then we need to watch each other's. We look out for our own, and we help each other when we have to.
Coxa rubbed his chin in thought. Like some sort of pony family?
No.
I shook my head.
We're changelings, not ponies. We've got to be something else, something better. Families fight and bicker. We need to be watertight.
Eshadai grinned.
Yeah.
Eloquently spoken, Gregor Clegane. Lacewing looked down at her hooves.
I've never...
She looks up at me, eyes beaming.
I would like that, my prince.
If I had a camera right now, that's a picture I would hold on to forever. On second thought, having pictures of others' kids being adorable in your wallet is probably creepy. Tarsus nodded but didn't say anything. I like the idea, but I don't know if we should tell others about it. And that's why I love Coxa. I don't need to suggest all these near treasonous ideas when he reaches the conclusions I'm getting to before I can even hint at them. Thorax pitched in next.
But Pharynx is my actual family. How could I just abandon him like that?
I stepped into the conversation again.
You won't have to. We can consider him an honorary member. We cover his back, just without him knowing. We'll never leave your brother out to dry, Thorax.
I don't like lying to him. Can't we just include him on this?
I frowned.
He's got enough to worry about when it comes to protecting the hive as a guard. We don't want him to favor protecting us over the rest of the hive in his royal duties, do we?
This made Thorax pause in thought, but he continued his line of thinking.
But you're the prince. He's already got to favor protecting you over us.
Stop poking holes in my argument, Thorax.
Look, the worst case is that I order him to protect one of you if needed.
If you say so, Phasma.
Already discarding titles, are we? I looked to the 5 changelings gathered in front of me.
Then it's settled. We stick together, through thick and thin.
I stuck my hoof out in front of them. Together. Coxa put his notched hoof on top of my solid one. Lacewing added hers.
Together.
Together.
Eshadai placed his massive 1/4 of an inch bigger hoof onto the pile.
Till the end.
Tarsus added, unnecessarily ominously before piling on. If Thorax stays out, then that's one less liability. If he joins, then that's a changeling with a conscience I can use. Thorax looked apprehensive. However, he added his hoof.
For our family.
I had to refrain from fidgeting in place. This was striking a bit too close to home. I was standing next to Queen Chrysalis' throne in, you guessed it, the throne room. There were twice as many royal guards present, up to 24. There was also the entire retinue of the royal court, from the head of infiltration to the captain of the royal guard. The reason for such a turnout was sitting glued down in front of the throne. Ivani, an infiltrator, was on trial. He was currently making himself as small as possible, flinching at the Chamberlain's words.
Conspiring to subvert the hive, conspiring to threaten the peace, and high treason against Her Majesty.
Chamberlain Yucharis finished reading off the charges. Officer Katie stood next to me, trying to be a reassuring presence. However, you don't inspire confidence when you look about as content as a drowning rat. Apparently, he knew Ivani from class a few years back. I would not be comfortable if anyone I knew was being sentenced to death. Bug Mom spoke up for the first time into this trial which had already been going on for 20 minutes.
You are faced with all these charges, with all this evidence, and yet you dare plead innocent? Have you no shame? You waste a court's time. You waste my time.
But all I did was suggest that maybe the Hive could benefit from Your Majesty hearing out our plights directly. There's precedence in a question.
You dare lie to the court? The Royal Guard has searched your room, and we have found more than suggestions. You have in your possession a treatise on harmony, written by the Pony Princess Celestia herself.
Ivani started to tremble. I've never seen that book in my life, I swear!
We know you brought it into the hive.
Yucharis pressed.
Sources have confirmed the book as being yours specifically. My queen, the accused has made his plea and has provided no evidence to support his radical claim.
Wait, someone had said in infiltrator class that their roommate possessed the book. I scanned the room, looking for a changeling in particular. If there was a changeling I had met before, the weave would intuitively provide their identity if I saw them.
Infiltrator Ivani, the evidence cannot be denied. You are guilty of bringing in pony ideals into the hive. Furthermore, you have attempted to poison the court with their false teachings. The sentence for such a crime is death.
Ivani gasped and started sobbing. Next to me, Katie did start shaking. I wish I could have reassured him that Chrysalis is going to back down from the death penalty, but I dare not speak aloud. It was expected of me to be reserved and silent, so reserved and silent I was. Chrysalis wanted me in here witnessing this for a reason.
However,
the queen drawled,
I am a merciful queen. Instead of being sentenced to death, you will be enrolled into the guard training program. In addition, you will have recycling that duty for the next 13 months.
Thank you, my queen. Katydid let out a sigh of relief, which was drowned out by Ivani's rambling thanks. Chrysalis stood up.
Your recreational hours will be sacrificed to fit in your extra duties. I am giving you a second chance. You would do well not to relapse.
Note to self, don't get caught.
This court is adjourned.
As the changelings start to file out, two breaking the infiltrator's bindings and dragging him off, Officer Katydid leaned over to whisper to me.
You did well, my prince.
However, before he could continue with his unneeded compliments, Chrysalis approached us.
Queen Chrysalis?
I said out loud, and Officer Katydid looked up and bowed to the monarch.
Prince Phasma, what would you have sentenced the traitor to?
Fuck, a test already? I took a deep breath, giving me a moment to think.
I do not think I could have done any wiser of a sentencing, Mother. Announce the death penalty to strike fear, then backing down to a less severe penalty to project an aura of mercy and power to our subjects. He will tell those around him how thankful he is that you granted him the honor of a second chance, thus reminding the populace the penalty of treason against the crown.
Chrysalis nodded, then walked off. As I smiled to myself, Katydid stared at me.
Something the matter, Officer Katydid?
You... nothing, my prince.
I sniffed and looked away, towards the glassless windows of the throne room. So many things I need to do, so few hours in the day. Find a way into the vault, continue to build a closer relationship with the 5 classmates, and study for tomorrow's exam on illusion spells. I did not find the changeling I was looking for in the throne room.